Off the boards to Reggett. Reggett being held in the box, and a foul is called. Rayleigh has both arms wrapped around him in the box.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back on Under Review. It wasn't our fault we took a week off. The head of officials for the MASL, Ryan Sigich, blamed that guy over here. He had travel issues, and that's why we had to miss a week. Ryan, explain yourself. What happened?
American Airlines. That's all I can say.
You got to give them the blue card, American Airlines. They're not a sponsor, right? And Ryan, we waited 2 weeks for your explanation on this goal from the Milwaukee Wave Florida Tropics game from 2 weeks ago, week 14. We've got under 3 to play in the fourth quarter. Loose ball at the back post. There's a collision between Ian Bennett and the Tropics keeper, Jorge Navarrete. The ball finds its way to Andre Hayne, who shoots and eventually scores the game winner here. The play goes to review, and it is deemed a good goal. Ryan, can you break this one down for us?
Well, Phil, I'll call this exciting mass chaos. Let's just say that, as we have 7 players inside the penalty area, and you can see they're holding there on the right side of the penalty area is actually Chad is holding Andre, but they really had no impact on the play, so we did look past that. And then the shot's taken, it comes off Navarrete, the ball's in the air, and then Ian comes up in the air to challenge, and which he has every right to the ball at this point. But the question, does he foul Navarrete either with his arms or with his right foot or with both? As you can see, both of which are very high into Navarrete's face. As you referenced, it does go to VR. The referees must determine 100% that the wrong call was made on the field, which was the goal. They determined that it was not clear and obvious. However, I don't see how this is not deemed as a foul. There's a term we use in referee languages called what is the, quote, expected call. So we don't want to focus on too much what might be technically or practically correct sometimes, but what's expected. And I just think when everybody looks at this one, no matter what side of the ball you're on here, you would more than likely expect that this is a foul.
Tough break for the Tropics on that play. We're going to rewind this game to the third quarter. They don't like this call either. Loose ball again, same post for some reason. Ben Raymond and Joey Tavernisi collide into William B. The ball squirts free, and the Tropics think they have their third goal of the game, only to be waved off for a foul on William B.
Well, I think in this one you could probably debate whether it's Raymond's contact with Joey that takes his momentum into Willie B. The fact that Willie B is about to gain possession of the ball here and that he's pretty much taken out by both players. Again, we don't judge intent here. But if you go back to what I just said a minute ago, what's the expected call, or what does everybody expect on this? And I do think it's a foul as well. But for consistency purposes, especially within the same match, I think if you're going to give this one a foul, then the one on Bennett actually fouled as well.
We head to the game in Baltimore between the Blast and the KC Comets. Now, we'll get to the game in Cable Dahmer in a second, but I really found this play interesting in the fourth quarter. The score doesn't really matter here. It's 7-2. But Kansas City won a handball on the Baltimore player for handling in the box. Now, Ryan, I know the outdoor rule is you cannot be called for a penalty on your arm that's sort of bracing to hit the ground. Is the indoor call the same as the outdoor here?
What you're talking about is something we call a, quote, support arm, and the application, the interpretation is the same. But let me just get on my soapbox. I think FIFA has made handball one of the most difficult areas to judge anymore, and I don't think nobody really knows anymore what is handball and what isn't. I like to go back to the old ways of where we just called it by feel. But anyways, I think the first question is, where does the ball contact the player, or what part of the body? And for purposes of handball, it's anything where the upper boundary of the arm to the bottom of the armpit is not a handball. In this case, as you referenced, it's normal when a player's sliding to support their body with an arm. However, in this case, Rayleigh's body is on the ground and his arm is extended. So his arm's actually what we call a barrier between the shot and the goal. So he's making himself bigger, almost in the sense like playing like a goalkeeper. So this is a handball, in my opinion, as the arm's away from the body, and as I said, created a barrier or blocked a shot on goal. However, we go back to my initial question of where did the ball contact? And I don't know that that's clear. And in the opinion of Butler and Encarnacion, they also felt that the video wasn't entirely % clear of where the contact happened. So that's why they stayed with the call on the field.
Ryan, we've got 2 weeks of plays to catch up on, but I don't want a 30-minute episode here. So we're going to do some rapid fire. Let's start in Empire, the game between the San Diego Sockers and the Empire Strikers. That's a mouthful. Is this high boot from Robert Palmer a blue card?
Well, it was given as a blue card. It's definitely more than just a blue card. I think the foot obviously comes up high. I mean, my honest opinion, I don't think it's as severe as what it really looks, but there's no reason for Palmer's foot to be up that high. San Diego did not have their challenge flag as they used it earlier on something that wasn't even a foul. So there wasn't an opportunity to go back and review this one.
Another one from this game, Ryan, end of the third quarter. Frank Taiu tackle on Charlie Gonzalez. What do you say? Is this a clean tackle?
I think it's a clean tackle. I mean, I think some folks think that we can't tackle from behind, which is not the case. You got to look at what the considerations are. The timing is spot on. He contacts with the ball. Then you got to look at what the follow through is. There is no follow through contact. It's a good tackle for me. All ball.
Ryan, one more from this game between the Sockers and the Strikers. Ismael Rojo thinks he's got the fourth goal of the game for the Sockers. Loose ball here. Contact between Rojo and the goalkeeper, Chris Toth. For me, this is a clean goal. What about you?
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on this one, looked at it over and over again. I just don't see a lot in it. Yes, there's contact, there's a little bit of arm, and there also might be some lower body contact there, which really wasn't the protest at the time. But just don't see a lot of force or strength to, the contact there. I think Toth just goes down really, really easy, which he normally doesn't do.
One more in rapid fire, Ryan. Utica City FC versus the Florida Tropics. We're in overtime. This is the foul that leads to the shootout goal winner for Utica City. Bo Jelovic goes down pretty easy here, but I think this is a shootout.
Well, I think we got to look at practical versus technical application. I do agree, going back to that term I used earlier, what does everyone expect? I think the expectation there is a shootout. However, if you break down our rules from a technical standpoint, number one, it's got to be a foul from behind, and this is not. Number two, the attacker must have possession of the ball, and this attacker does not have possession of the ball. So technically for me, this is a 2-minute penalty, but not a shootout.
Back to week 14, matchup between the Tacoma Stars and the Dallas Sidekicks. This play goes to video review for the collision between the Dallas striker and Tacoma goalkeeper, Danny Waltman. But Ryan, in my opinion, I think we're looking at the wrong thing here. This collision, if this happened at midfield, we would just be playing on. What I think we should be looking at is whether Waltman handled the ball outside of the box. And if I freeze the video right here from the angle behind the goal, I think I can make a case that Waltman handled it outside of the area.
I think this is almost like a train wreck of a play where you got three players coming together, and I could give you a different opinion based on what angle that I look like. As you said, Danny out of the box. The first question, does he handle it? I really think it hits his chest. Then you have the Tacoma player there. I think that's Ramos comes in for a challenge with a straight leg. So you need to determine, did that straight leg contact the ball, or did he contact Vickmore with that straight leg, or did he contact nothing? Again, I see different things depending on what angle that I look at. And I think the answer here is nothing, using the angle from behind the goal. I think Ramos is the one who actually takes out Waltman. Then I think you have Vickmore, who's entitled to the ball, and I think he's taken out by Waltman, who's actually taken out by his own player. For me, after reviewing this numerous times, I think it's no foul, and I think play should have been restarted with a drop ball.
Oh, another play of organized chaos. Ryan, this is why everyone comes to this show. Ryan, the chaos doesn't stop yet. We're in Kansas City now. Again, a game between the Blast and the Comets. And I think this is a great call by the referees here. We're late in the fourth quarter. Comets down 1. They think they score the game winner. But this is a great spot by the referees because on the restart, the ball is moving still. And Ryan, I'll let you explain it, why this is no goal.
As you know, quick restarts are a huge part of our game, more than outdoor. And there are the requirements by rule in order for them to be taken legally. The ball goes out of play quickly, then is returned by a fan's put down by Nacho, and then the kick is taken. So it was in the correct spot because the rule says taken within a 3-foot radius, which was the case here. But the ball must be stationary, and when Nacho puts the ball down, you can see that it's still moving and it's bouncing. Therefore, from the technical part of the rule, it's not the legal restart. I think in the perfect world, as a referee, I really want to catch this in real time. But I think, Phil, at the end of the day, they did get the call correct. I think Corey and Lorenzo here got the call right after looking at it again.
Ryan, the ref got the call earlier in the fourth quarter, correct? But I don't know about this one. You're going to have to explain why this isn't a penalty for Zach Reggett. We've got under 3 minutes to play now. Baltimore still up by that lone goal, and Zach Reggett is being held, and it's inside the penalty area, and we're going to a shootout. What is happening here? Why isn't this a penalty kick?
Well, this is a really difficult call to make, quite frankly. Keep in mind the criteria for a penalty kick. Number one is the severity of the foul. So is it reckless, which this one is not since it's holding. Criteria number two, did the foul deny an obvious goal scoring opportunity? So that's the question here. You need to determine if Reggett, if he was not held, what's the probability that he would have scored a goal? And I think it's fairly actually pretty high because the ball's coming off the boards and I think would have gone straight to his feet. So typically a hold like this inside the penalty area would be a free kick from the top of the arc or the free kick mark. However, I think if you look at this one, the hold by Rayleigh actually starts at the top of the penalty area. And I think it's more than just a simple hold. It looks more like a bear hug with two hands, and it's a continuous hold. So I think this one is pretty blatant. It's a non-soccer play. He's not challenging for the ball. It's not a hold and release. So, I think after looking at this over and over again, I think for me, this would have been a penalty kick and a 2-minute penalty.